From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, 8 governorship candidates signed peace accord in Kano ahead of March election. Security guards attached to residents of late President Yar'Adua released after 30 days detention. Scarcity of new Naira notes worry residents of Gombe as January 31st deadline draws close. And on the international scene, Kyiv helicopter crash kills children as government refutes reports of Internal Affairs Minister's death. Hello and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Now the news in detail. We begin with politics, where 8 governorship candidates in Kano State have signed a peace accord to commit themselves to peaceful conduct of election. At a stakeholders meeting in Kano, the candidates agreed to conduct themselves in accordance with the law before, during and after the elections. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin reports.
Organized by the Kano State Peace Committee in collaboration with the National Peace Committee with the support of the United Nations, the signing of the peace document is the first in the series of activities ahead of February 2023 general elections.
The Commission is working assiduously to ensure that electoral violence is curbed. The deployment of technological innovations like beepers with dual fingerprint and facial biometric accreditation process, together with other members of Kano State Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, which have mapped out strategies to ensure peaceful 2022 general elections. We have set all machinery in place to ensure that the election process is hitch-free before, during, and of course after the elections.
The APC man is exchanging greetings.
The idea is to ensure that these aspirants abide by peace guidelines before, during and after the election process, ensure that their supporters did not use violence in carrying out their elections campaign.
We must encourage regular exchanges between the key stakeholders to identify potential threats to the electoral process and focus on finding practical and concrete ways to address and mitigate them prior to the elections.
One after the other, these candidates signed the peace accord document to effectively confirm their commitment to ensuring peaceful elections in Kano State.
We put Kano first, beyond our aspiration, beyond our personal interest, beyond everything. So we are committed to this peace accord, and we want to assure the good people of Kano State that our party, the APC, and our gubernatorial candidate are committed to this peace accord before, during, and after the election. I want to affirm the commitment of myself, my supporters, and my political party, the NNPP, towards free, fair, and credible election.
As the candidate commits to peaceful electioneering process, participants at this Kano first peace signing ceremony expect these politicians to abide by their own words for peaceful election come February 2023. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi said he will unite and secure the nation if elected in February. Obi said this at the party's presidential rally in Kaduna, where he pledges to revamp agriculture, create employment and fight insecurity in the north. The report.
Hundreds of supporters converged on Ahmadu Bello Stadium to receive the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, with his running mate, Datti Baba Ahmed, and members of their campaign team. Obi, while addressing the party supporters, said he will address economic and security challenges as well as create job opportunities for the youths.
It is supposed to be the most secure place in Nigeria. But today, people can sleep, they cannot sleep with their eyes closed. That is why I am about to say that the and I said we will secure and unite Nigeria. We are showing you security will come back here again. Excellency, the Kaduna State welcomes you and your beautiful wife. We want to assure you that, as you have seen us here, these are your organic followers. These are organic followers. We know the structure. You are the structure.
We are tired of moving backward. For almost 8 years, we've been hurtling backward. This is the time for us to begin to move forward. And I tell you something, it is the women and the youth that will make a difference in this country.
The presidential candidate handed over flag to the gubernatorial candidate of the party in Kaduna State, Jonathan Asaki. He had earlier held a town hall meeting with women, youth, and other stakeholders in Kaduna. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Presidential candidate of People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, says he will expand the scope of Nigeria's economy by tackling unemployment if voted into power. The former vice president made the pledge during a presidential rally held on Wednesday in Abeokuta. Atiku said he will address unemployment, the living standard of workers will be improved, and all obstacles removed to effectively develop the economy. Abubakar urged PDP leaders to ensure delivery of their various polling units to win the forthcoming general elections.
PDP! 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 Now, the people of Ogun State, first of all, we want to apologize for our delay in coming to address you at this rally. But in spite of that, we can see that you are very, very patient. So we thank you for your patience. You have listened to what the PDP promises to do for Ogun State. We have promised to devolve more powers and resources to Ogun State and also the local governments of Ogun. We have promised to make sure industrialization of Ogun State, because Ogun State is endowed with so many mineral resources.
Still in politics, presidential candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, on Wednesday told global audience at the Chatham House, London, that he will make Nigeria a business, investment and career destination if elected president. Kwankwaso, who enumerated his policy options, says education will be accorded priority attention if he becomes president through adequate investments and support to the citizens, thereby addressing the challenge of 20 million out-of-school children, blaming leadership inadequacy for challenges in Nigeria. Responding to a question on whether he will step down for the Labour Party presidential candidate, Kwankwaso said his political opponent has integrity issues to contend with.
Following our successful experimentation in Kano State, we will make all application forms for admission into tertiary education institutions and application forms for employment free. H, we will also make all examinations such as WAEC, NECO, NAPTEB, MBAS, JAM, etc. free. This was successfully implemented for 8 years in Kano State when I was the state governor. I, we will introduce a 4-year validity period for JAM examination results so that our children can use the same JAM results again to gain admission into our tertiary education institutions. J. We will upgrade and expand all our universities, polytechnics, and the colleges of education and raise their standard to global competitiveness. K. We will work with all stakeholders to arrest the rot and the decay in our tertiary education institutions and ensure that the perennial industrial action by staff unions is brought to a permanent stop.
He further said Nigerians will not accept any form of contraption as being speculated other than a democratically elected government, just as he advised the incumbent president, Muhammadu Buhari, to leave a legacy of free, fair and credible election, having been a serial victim of manipulations and rigging in the past. A federal high court in Abuja has dismissed the suit seeking the disqualification of the All Progressives Congress presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu over a Muslim ticket ahead of the February 25th presidential election. Justice Ahmed Ramat Mohammed held that the lawyer who filed the suit lacks the locus standi since he was never a member of the APC nor participant in the process that produced Tinubu and his running mate Kashim Shettima as candidates. The suit was filed by an Abuja-based legal practitioner, Osigwe Ahmed Momo, seeking an order nullifying the candidature of Tinubu and the APC from participating in the presidential election on the grounds that the nomination of Muslim candidacy is unconstitutional and against the spirit and letters of Section 14, 15, and 224 of the Nigerian 1999 Constitution. The lawyer has asked the court for an order of perpetual injunction restraining the Independent National Electoral Commission from publishing the name of APC and its presidential candidate for the 2023 election. The Supreme Court on Wednesday dismissed the appeal by Joseph Albasu seeking to join him to the case of Jerome Nyame, who is asking the court to nullify the election of Agbu Kefas as the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Taraba State. The claim of Joseph Albasu that he should be declared winner and not Jerome Nyame was consequently declared unsuccessful. The Supreme Court is yet to fix a date for the hearing of the main appeal filed by Jerome Nyame against Lieutenant Colonel Agbu Kefas, retired. Nyame, who dragged Kefas to court, alleged that Kefas neither purchased the expression of interest form nor the nomination form before the exercise and prayed the appellate court to nullify his victory. His prayer was both rejected by the lower courts. Several election stakeholders have tasked Nigerians to actively participate in the upcoming general elections and to work towards ensuring an election devoid of violence. They made this known in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, during a voter sensitization campaign program organized for youths on the need to understand what role they can play to ensure a peaceful election, while urging them to get their permanent voters' cards and ready to vote during the election. The youths were charged to vote credible leaders.
The actual voting process doesn't take long, but of course voting involves queuing. You have to queue in the lines and be patient. And all of us have to be patient to exercise our rights, because the leaders we are electing will be in office for the next 4 or 5 years and will preside over our destiny. So therefore, all of us really need to be patient. It's not a quick process, and I can understand that in Nigeria it will be much more tedious, much more patience needed because of the size of your population.
Nigerian youth have the largest percentage of voters. Their participation will mean a lot and could decide the winner in this election. This is the reason we are leaving no stone unturned to ensure that they understand the power they have and use it to the interest of the country. We want to make sure that the news of positive change is not only going to be heard, but actively and generously implemented in all tiers and arms of government nationwide.
One of the things voter education seeks to achieve is peaceful elections, and that is trying to speak to the people to ensure that they understand the need to avoid violence, speak to the youths, to rather be more productive in terms of doing the right things and ensure that everything is done within a relatively peaceful environment. INEC has been doing a lot.
With the collection of PVCs now extended to the 29th of January 2023 by INEC, Nigerians now have more time to get their cards to enable them vote for their preferred candidate in the forthcoming elections. However, with every passing day, Nigerians are raising concerns as issues around the collection process continue to bother registered voters at the centers. In this report, Noel Sampson gets the reactions of Nigerians who are yet to get their cards, especially as the deadline draws nearer despite the extension. The report.
With less than 2 months to the general elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, finally bowed to pressure and extended the deadline for the collection of PVCs, as many Nigerians were yet to collect the cards. However, despite the additional time, some Nigerians are still not finding it easy to collect the cards.
The process is so bad. You can imagine I'm coming all the way from Kurudu. I supposed to collect my voter's card in Karo. Getting there, they said no, it has been taken to Nyanya, Karo village again. I went to Karo village. After checking everything, they said no, my center is not there, that I should come to a city center. Yeah. And I came. When I came, checked out, they said my name is not there, that they will reprint my card again. And that I should come back, check up this week again. I went back, that was last week, I went back. Coming back today again, telling me that I should go back, maybe on the 28th or 29th, to check back that my card is not yet available.
It's majorly only the digitally inclined ones that would understand where to get that PVC and how to get it, because most of the people that don't know what to do are not computer literate, so they have to be guided by somebody who knows what to do.
On the flip side, some Nigerians hailed the procedure for collecting the cards, saying it is easy and fast.
From the registration, like before you come to this place, you've been told like where you want to transfer, and then it's based on phones. So where you live, then you go to your phone and get it.
Alright.
Like I'm voting in Abacha branch, but this is my phone.
The process is better now. Before, I think I registered in 2018 and I'll be going for my PVC. But now the process is better. I'm about collecting my PVC now.
Compared to like the last few years, it's been fair enough and faster. It's been more reliable. I think their ICT management has been more reliable than before. Just a few weeks back, like 2 weeks ago, I had at least 5 of my friends that applied for their PVC and they got it in just a short time.
It has been cool. As you can see, there's no more crowd and the INEC are really trying. They've employed more staffs. Like now I'm coming from area 11. They referred me again to Gariki and I went there. Immediately I got there, I was attended to and they referred me here again. And somebody has attended to me already. So it's cool. We're good.
Despite the improvements in the collection process, Nigerians want the Independent National Electoral Commission to do more so that other challenges and the exercise will be eliminated. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Similarly, with the 2023 elections fast approaching, collection of permanent voters' cards is attracting crowds at the ward level in Delta State. A visit to the centers revealed that some registered voters are calling for the deployment of more staff to speed up the process. The report.
As part of measures to ensure the seamless collection of permanent voter cards by registered voters, the Independent National Electoral Commission devolved the collection of the cards to the ward levels. At Ward 9 and 10 West End Asaba, INEC officers are having a field day controlling the crowd of those seeking their permanent voter cards. Identification, sorting, and issuing of the cards are also part of the processes of the exercise.
Now you see, go to
In Ward 1 of Fagbe Isoko North, registered voters were spotted patiently waiting to collect their cards.
You can see the crowd outside, but though they are working, at the same time, we need to bear with them because it's not easy.
We like doing things at the late hours, actually, but they are trying, they are really trying. They are doing their best to let everybody get their PVC. Name on the cards, everything is okay, but I discovered that my picture, my face, was a bit, maybe the placing of the camera was not okay.
So the challenge that we're facing now, that all of them here are doing guy. And we need helping hands. The government has the funds to bring people here to employ so that it will be moving on.
At Ward 1 and 2, Anyocha North, Iseluku, some could not see their cars, which may be unconnected with double registration.
For reason of having registered in the past and then come for a second registration, they will find their PVCs and so they get agitated too. And we want to start making noise. But we try to talk to them and make them understand that they have actually shot themselves on the foot by going to register a second time when there's an initial registration. Every person who has registered in the past is expected to ask for a replacement of the registration and not for you to go and register a second time.
The collection of the PVCs is ongoing at the 270 wards in Delta State, and it will end on the 22nd of January before the mop-up collection of the PVCs will resume at the INEC local government secretariats till 29 January 2023, according to INEC. Ubechi Kelvin Kelly for Silverbird Television, Asaba.
Now on to security. Troops of Operation Forest Sanity have neutralized 2 bandits and cleared several of their hideouts in the Chukun local government area of Kaduna State. This was disclosed in a statement on Tuesday by the Kaduna State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruan. The commissioner said the troops achieved the breakthrough during fighting patrols along the Kaborisha, Rijana Forest, Kuzo, Kujeni, Gwanto, Kachia axis. According to the commissioner, the troops set up an ambush position along the Gwanto-Kwasau road and thereafter engaged the bandits approaching the location on motorcycles. During the process, the troops killed the 2 bandits and recovered 3 motorcycles. The troops also raided bandits' camps in the Kutura Rijana general area, during which the bandits fled into the forests on sighting the troops, who then destroyed the camps and recovered 3 motorcycles. Other items recovered include several sets of military uniforms and bandoliers. While assuring residents that the onslaught against bandits was in progress, the commissioner appealed to the public to continue to volunteer useful information. The parish priest of St. George's Catholic Church, Omu-Ekiti, Ekiti State, Reverend Father Michael Olofin-Lade, who was abducted on Saturday, has regained his freedom. The Owajumu of Omu-Ekiti, Oba Adeyeye Ogundeyi, disclosed this to journalists on Tuesday in Omu-Ekiti. Oba Ogundeyi said Father Olofin-Lade was sighted along the Takpaji, Ekiti Road after he was released by his abductors. He said the priest was currently receiving treatment in an undisclosed hospital in Ekiti State. However, the police did not make any statement regarding his release or whether a ransom was paid before he was freed. Police operatives and civilians guarding the residence of the late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, detained for 29 days, have been released. The 8 detained police operatives and civilians were released some hours after families spoke to Trust TV, demanding either their formal charge to court or a release. Abdullahi Yamadi completes the report.
One of the detained civilians guarding residence of the late president said they were arrested and detained for allegedly burgling and stealing some valuables belonging to Hajia Toure Yar'Adua. He said though it was an offense they knew nothing about, they were however detained for 29 days without trial. Narrating his ordeal, Yunusa Muhammad said though they were not interrogated and humiliated in the course of investigation, but 29 days in detention is something he will never forget.
Wannan abu da ya faru, mu dai Allah ya sani ba mu da ciki.
The only thing I will do is to leave everything in the hands of God, because I personally believe in destiny. Let me appreciate you and the media you represent for coming through for us through your reportage. He, however, thanked God for his intervention and commended the media for championing their cause. The entire family of Yunusa Muhammad was joyous and expressed gratitude to all those who stood by them at their difficult moments.
This is one of the days we will never forget. We are happy for the freedom of our husband. We thank God for everything. Human rights groups and other NGOs have done well.
Observers are calling on the police to restrain themselves from certain action in order to avoid being labeled as a brutal force that acts with impunity. Abdullah Ismail, Trust Television News, Katsina.
You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. How salary earners are surviving January amidst cash shortage. Do stay with us.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
The FCT administration has observed an increase in the influx of street beggars into the city and metropolis. When you give alms directly to street beggars, you encourage this unwholesome practice with its attendant risks to all. Remember, street begging remains banned in the FCT. Residents are encouraged to channel their alms through recognized channels as the churches, mosques, and orphanages. A better approach which still guarantees the reward of your kind gesture, as neither Islam nor Christianity encourages begging. This way, we can rid the city of this menace. To keep Abuja safe is our collective responsibility. Play your part. This message is from the FCT administration.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
A Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Already, if you look at English squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. You're still watching News Hour on Trust TV. A recap of our top stories. We told you that 8 governors or governorship candidates signed peace accord in Kano ahead of March election. We also told you that security guards attached to residence of late President Yar'Adua released after 30 days detention. Moving to other news, traders at the Abuja Computer Complex situated in Wuse Zone 3 were in shock on Wednesday as some of the facilities were destroyed by a developer who is said to have secured a proposal to rebuild the facility. The market's parking lot, its sewage, as well as an underground armored cable were among the structures that were damaged during a night operation on Tuesday. One of the traders at the market and a shop Aloti, Benga Odubayo, alleged that a developer who got approval from the FCTA for redesigning and rebuilding the facility is the mastermind of the operation. He also alleged that the operation went ahead despite a court injunction against it, adding that the market's board is taking legal steps to seek redress.
I came to work this morning. I didn't hear anything yesterday. And I saw that they had cleared all the parking lots. I felt so sad because I've been here in this complex for over 30 years. You know, a lot of people, we are over, let me say, close to 1,000 people that are deriving their living in this complex. You know, this morning I had to park my car about half a kilometer away. And I can't see anybody coming to buy something because everywhere is chipped up. If they cannot come to park, they won't survive.
What happened yesterday happened despite the court injunction. We have already appealed to the case, and the case is appeal court, and they are aware of it for still of execution. But they took law into their hands and come and break this case yesterday. So we have already informed the IG, our lawyer is on it, that they should not allow police to be used to commit illegality. That's our stand on this.
Speculations over the expiration of the tenure of the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, midway into the general elections have been laid to rest. Minister of Police Affairs, Mohammed Dingyadi, told State House correspondents on Wednesday that the police helmsman already had an appointment letter extending his term in office. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo had presided over the first Federal Executive Council meeting for 2023 at State House, Abuja. Kende Amudu reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari did not attend the first meeting of the Council of Ministers for the year, as he was away in Nouakchott, Mauritania, for the third forum of the African Conference for Peace. The lot therefore fell on Vice President Osinbajo to guide the Council through some crucial decisions. But first, the niggling question over the tenure of the Inspector General of Police, which is supposed to expire on the 1st of March, as they clock 60.
I don't know why you got your record, but let me say that by the provision of Police Act 2020, the IG is now supposed to have a kind of 4-year period. And Mr. President has already given him a letter of appointment in that regard. So the issue of IG going out during this election period does not arise.
Meanwhile, the council has given the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited the go-ahead to invest 1.9 trillion naira in the reconstruction of 44 federal roads under the tax credit policy. The roads, which are spread across the country, will also be concessioned under the pilot phase of the value-added section of the Highways Development and Management Initiative.
The roads that are being that will be under this first phase are the Benin-Asaba corridor, Abuja-Lokoja, Onitsha, Owerri-Aba, Shagamu to Benin, Abuja-Kefi-Akwanga-Lafia to Makurdi, Kano-Maiduguri as the Kano-Shauri, Enugu to Port Harcourt, Lagos-Ota-Abeokuta, and Lagos-Badagry-Seme.
Also on Wednesday, The council approved the procurement and assembling of a Magnus Sentinel aircraft and stimulator in Zaria at the sum of over 2.2 billion naira over a period of 18 months.
We're getting them to come here and assemble this aircraft and later on to continue to produce them here in Nigeria for the first time. The arrangement is as in the memo. We're procuring it from them, and they have helping us to establish here and assemble, just like what Peugeot was doing before and Volkswagen in Nigeria. But we go a step forward to do the actual manufacture.
The simulator will be assembled in Zaria, and according to the aviation minister, Hadi Sirika, is expected to kickstart the aviation industry's manufacture of aircraft in the country. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amudu, Trust TV News.
Back to electoral matters. Ahead of the forthcoming elections, youth's participation and inclusiveness has been on the front burner, prompting many to believe that young ones will play decisive roles during the elections and beyond. Trust TV's Kabir Lawal examines the level of preparations for youth's participation in the elections to enable them to contribute to the nation building.
Rabiu Abdul-Majid, who has been advocating for youths not to be used as political thugs in the forthcoming elections, believes it is now time to have a rethink. He said inclusiveness in politics will give them a sense of belonging and contribute in the decision-making processes.
Generally, young people tend to participate in a lot of negativities, let me call it that way, during the elections. If you go to the police stations after the elections, you find a lot of young people there. They've been arrested for one thing or the other. Young people do all of these things and they suffer for all of these things. Some of us don't take part in any atrocities.
I think they're ready because when you notice the level of involvement of the youth in this particular election, you will notice that we have a set of youth that are very angry and are ready to take their destiny into their hands. But I have a particular issue about discussion. Now, what I have noticed our youths do towards election is 6, 5, 7 months to election, you see them busy talking it. After electing the government, we all go back to sleep.
A cross-section of youths also said if given the opportunity, they will combat political thuggery and be good ambassadors of the country at all times.
It is time for us to set our goals and then pursue it. If not, we'll end up at home telling the stories to our kids what we did while we were young. So I urge everyone to just take part positively.
We should add value to ourselves more than just allowing ourselves to be used as instruments of, giving these politicians a chance to use it. I myself, my advice to you, if anyone is sending you out there as a thug, let his child be your leader. And I believe that would be the best idea. If not, if they feel that thuggery is not the best for their children, then definitely thuggery is not the best for you as a youth.
We should all educate ourselves. Nigeria is literally our country. It's not their country, it's our kind of country. So we need to be able to educate ourselves to know what to do and what not to do, because at the end of the day, we are still the future leaders of tomorrow. So it's basically in our hands.
They should wake up. They should stop fighting, using them as thugs and all that will not solve the issue. You don't use a fight to fight a fight. You use your head. You don't use your hands and all that.
The political class was severally accused of manipulating employed youths to arrive at a political decision. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Thank you, Kabir, for that report. Now, the Osun State Command of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps has assured the state of adequate security before, during and after the forthcoming general elections. The state NSCDC Commandant Agbo last Sunday gave the assurance in Oshogbo, the state capital, while unveiling the emergency response lines of the Corps. Agbola said officers and men of the Corps are undergoing regular trainings to build their capacity to combat insecurity in the state. He added that the personnel of the Corps are prepared and ready for election duties, assuring voters and officials of the indentation of the National Electoral Commission of adequate protection. The state governor, Ademola Adeleke, who was represented by the secretary to the state government, Teslim Igbalaye, assured of providing necessary support for the NSCDC in the state to ensure a smooth operation.
They are very close to the grassroots, and we need them to complement the other security operatives. So what we need to do, the government from our own side, is to give them the necessary support.
We all are aware that the election is around the corner, and if you can see, all this program we are doing today is geared towards ensuring that we have a peaceful election and make sure that the people of Fortune are well protected.
Since the unveiling of the new Naira notes in November 2022 by President Muhammadu Buhari, availability of the redesigned 1,500 and 200 Naira notes in circulation has remained a source of worry. The CBN has launched the redesigned Naira notes on the 15th December last year and announced that the old notes will cease to be legal tender by 31st of January 2023. However, there is growing fear over the scarcity of the new Naira notes, even as the Apex Bank insists that there will be no extension of the 31st of January 2023 deadline. In this report, Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail takes a look at the availability of the newly redesigned Naira notes in Gombe State.
Since the unveiling of the new Naira notes in November 2022 by President Muhammadu Buhari, availability of the redesigned 1,000 Naira, 500 Naira and 200 Naira notes in circulation has been a source of worry. The CBN has launched the redesigned Naira notes on 15th December last year and announced that the old notes will cease to be legal tender by 31st January 2023. However, there is growing fear over scarcity of the new Naira notes, even as the Apex Bank warned that there is no extension from the 31st January 2022. At the Gombe Main Market, some traders are complaining of the scarcity of the newly redesigned Naira notes.
The money, some people say that the money is not good, but I didn't see anything bad with the money, man. The money is correct. It's good. If an achievement tomorrow, we achieve this one. But my problem that the money is not circulating the way it's supposed to be circulating back.
The money is not circulating well. So that's the problem. So we pray that it will let the bank release that new money so that the money go to circulate to people.
As far as the new redesigned note is concerned, it is still yet to be available to most people. It's very, very scanty, especially when you go to the banks. You hardly get the new redesigned notes. Despite the fact the government say one should only make withdrawals from the government machines, but yet they are still scanty.
Amid scarcity of the newly redesigned new Naira notes in different parts of the country, economic experts advised the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) to intensify enlightenment to ensure that the newly redesigned Naira notes are made available.
The money should be made available to all banks first, and we shouldn't be adamant and say we must, the deadline is so. By the time in Nigeria, by the time you extend it now, it's going to be a problem. Allow it when it is about 2 days to the deadline and you see that people are complaining, then you can extend it. We make laws so we can reverse it. There's no problem about that. But then I advise, as I said, people that don't have bank account in villages, they should go and open banks account and also lodge their money into the bank.
In a recent sensitization campaign on the newly redesigned Naira notes at the Gombe Main Market, the CBN headquarters in Gombe said it has directed the banks to make the redesigned notes available, ruling out scarcity of the new notes in the state.
Governors of the 36 states have planned to meet with the Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele on Thursday over the present withdrawal policy and the redesigned Naira notes. The governors, under the auspices of the Nigeria Governors Forum through the spokesperson Abdulrazak Bello Barkindo, in a statement Tuesday night, said they will exchange ideas with Emefiele on the economic and security implications of the current withdrawal policy and Naira redesign. Spokesperson Bello Barkindo said the chairman of the NGF, who is the Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwal, had invited Emefiele to meet with the governors on Thursday at 9 p.m. virtually. The spokesperson, while referring to the NGF's Director General, Asishana Okauru, noted that the virtual meeting would focus on the latest Apex Bank's withdrawal policy and Naira redesign. January is the first month of the Gregorian calendar and was named after Janus, the Roman god of all beginnings. True to its name, the month represents the beginning of the new year and is believed to be one, if not the most difficult month of the year. This is because the monthly salary circle from December of the previous year to January of the next year is nothing like the rest of the months, due to the high level of spending during Christmas and New Year. In this report, Noel Sampson gets the reactions of Nigerians concerning the last 2 weeks of January, considered to be the most difficult due to the near total and, in some cases, total lack of money among salary earners. The report.
The last 2 weeks of January are usually characterized by hardship among salary earners because of lack of money. This stems for expenses incurred during the Christmas and New Year breaks, where many celebrated lots of merriment that also involved travel to visit loved ones. January is also the season where school fees for the second term is paid. Hence, those who even had little to spare will have to dispose what is left for kids to return to school. This leaves many almost cashless. As the month enters its third week, survival becomes extremely difficult.
Really prepared, but because we have finished everything, we have eaten all our money, and we cannot use the salary on Christmas and still use it for school fees again. It's not enough.
Money to even feed it, sometimes they had us because the salary is too small, it's too poor. Like me now, if I tell you how much I'm earning, you go surprised. As the no basic salary itself, you go surprised for my level. So I'm even think how we take get money for it. And then the school fees every day is increasing.
It's obvious that almost every January people have issues because of settlement of school fees, maybe relocation, change of paying of your rent, renewing your rent, and other activities like that. So based on that, you have little coming in, and the little you have, you want to share it among the ones you give much priority to, like the school fees, accommodation, and perhaps some health issues. So it's not always easy for the common man in Nigeria.
However, some are not even bothered about the hardship that comes with the month, as they are blessed or prudent enough to make provision for the month.
This January we are managing with God now. It's God that is sustaining us. That is the issue. I believe, though me, I did not travel, but I was able to manage. I reserve what I will manage in this January. I didn't travel. So that's what is sustaining me now.
Not for we the business owners, it's for the salary earners. You know, the way you plan your December to affect your January, either directly or indirectly. If you plan your December very well, you will enjoy January. If you spend lavishly in December, you will complain in January. So it's all about planning.
Lack of proper planning and excessive spending during Christmas and New Year celebrations have been attributed to the hardship experienced during January. Hence, people have been advised to be prudent during Christmas periods. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're still watching News Hour on Trust TV. More stories shortly.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Daily Trust presents 20th Daily Trust Dialogue. Theme: Interrogating the 2023 Presidential Agenda. Panelists: Mrs. Ibukun Awoshika, former Chairman, First Bank of Nigeria. Professor Jibrin Ibrahim, Professor of Political Science and member of the Board of the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD. Dr. Yetunde Anibaba, Lecturer, Analysis of Business Problems, Lagos Business School. Dr. Eugene Enahoro, Human Capacity Development Specialist and CEO, Heltoni Services Limited. Chairman of the event, John Cardinal Onaikon, Archbishop Emeritus of Abuja. Date, Thursday, 25th January 2023. Time, 10 a.m. Venue, NAF Conference Center and Suites, Gwarimpa Expressway, near Next Shopping Mall, Kado, Abuja. For sponsorship and branding participation, contact 081 00 49 1948, 081 65 32 0660, or 080 33 92 8902. The event will be broadcast live on Trust TV.
Ba a iya sutura da abinci jin daɗin duniyar mu ya ƙare. Za ka iya more rayuwarka da kayan alfarma na kamfanin Vento Furniture kamar su Ladi Corner Sets, Escape Sofa Sets, Acadia Sofa, Piano Sofa Sets, Sofa Corner Sets, Vento Sofa Sets. Sannan kuma za ku iya saka ƙayatattun gadaje na alfarma a ɗakunan kamar su Gold Cream Bedroom Sets, ko kuma ku wadata falon ku da kujeru na alfarma irin su Sare Royal Set da Acadia Dining Sets. Ofishoshin ku kuwa za ku iya saka manya-manyan kujeru na kece raini domin walwala da jin daɗin ku da abokan hulɗa. Kamfanin Vento Furniture ya tanadar muku gadajen bacci na yara masu inganci, kayan ɗaki irin na angwaye da amare har ma da sarakuna. Muna da shagunan mu a gurare kamar haka: 79 Allen Avenue, Ikeja, Lagos; 7A Azikiwe Road, Port Harcourt; 25 Glover Road, Ikoyi, Lagos; Shop U1 Jabi Lake Mall, Abuja; da kuma 4330 Walker Road, Windsor, Ontario ga mazauna ƙasar Canada. Vento Furniture, mun zagaye ko ina.
Welcome back. Let's now join Chiamaka Nwafo for business news.
The Nigerian Economic Summit Group, NESG, has projected the unemployment rate in Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation, to rise to 37% in 2023. This means that the projected unemployment rate is about 4 percentage points higher than the National Bureau of Statistics data of 33.3% as of 2020. In its latest 2023 macroeconomic outlook report titled Nigeria in Transition, Recipes for Shared Prosperity, the Private Policy Advocacy Group said the projected rate and the poverty headcount will amplify to 45%. The states got 299.557 billion naira, while the local government councils went home with 221.807 billion naira. Oil-producing states received 93.51 billion naira as derivation, representing 13% of mineral revenue. And finally in stocks, the Nigerian bourse, NGX closed negative amidst buy interest in sell-offs as bears dominated proceedings, driving down the broad market. The all-share index ASI depreciated by 0.16% to close at 52,615.51 points. In the same vein, market capitalization declined by 46 billion naira to close at 28.658 trillion naira. An aggregate of 217.9 million units of shares was traded in 3,377 deals, valued at 4.47 billion naira. Market break closed negative as Chalaram led 17 gainers and 21 losers, topped by FTN Cocoa at the end of today's session. That's it on Business News. I am Chiamaka Nwafo.
On the international scene, Ukraine's interior minister has refuted reports that Denis Monastyrski died Wednesday morning in a helicopter crash. The accident occurred near a nursery in a residential area in Bovary near Kiev, the capital. Local reports say 18 people were killed, including other ministry officials and 3 children. Let's now join Adeni Ajishafe for sports news.
The new dawn promised by the head of the Nigerian Football Referee Committee, Faith Irabo, is beginning to materialize as 9 referees in the Nigerian Women's Football League (NWFL) have been suspended for questionable officiating. After a careful review of the matches at the ongoing NWFL Premiership, the officials were found culpable as questionable calls were made. In the matches involving Osun-based vs Delta Queens, Adamawa Queens versus Nasarawa Amazons, and Rivers Angels versus Delta Queens. Center referee Joy Ogumboye from the Ondo Referee Association, Beatrice Paul from Taraba Referee Association, and Olufunke Adeshola from Oyo were all found wanting. The assistant referees suspended are Olusi Salomon and Ajiro Tutu Esther from Ondo State, Elizabeth Unisa of Gombe, Wuba Buli Root from Plateau State, Rafiat Abdurrashid and Aladini Khalid Adetutu from Oyo and Ondo respectively. While their suspension takes immediate effect, other punitive measures or otherwise are expected to come after their appearance before the NFF referee committee. And still on football, calling the first and the last gold medal in football at the All-African Games, and you will be correct as today in history is the golden jubilee of Nigerian first continental success in football. It was on this day, 18th January 1973, Nigeria beat Guinea 2-0 to win gold medal at the second All-African Games held at National Stadium, Surulere, Lagos. Sonny Oyarekwa scored both goals for Nigeria in the 43rd and 63rd minute. The then Green Eagles opened their account with a 4-2 defeat of Ghana Black Stars in the opening match. That was followed with a 2-2 draw as Algeria twice came from behind in what was the first encounter of both countries. 2 days later, on 12th January 1973, Nigeria beat Tanzania 2-1 in their last Group A match and qualified for the semi-finals. The Nigerian team met Egypt on 14th January and won 4-2 after a first-half 3-0 lead before beating Guinea 2-0 in the final. In a grueling match where Nigerian first-choice goalkeeper Emmanuel Okala had to be replaced by Eyo Essien after being injured. Nigeria placed second behind Egypt on the overall medal table, with the football gold medal celebrated like the Africa Cup of Nations win, which the team had failed to qualify for since their inaugural participation in 1963. 50 years down the line, the Nigerian team has failed to win a gold medal at the All-African Games. The next African Games will be held in Ghana later this year. That's Sport News. I am Adeni Ajishafe.
And with that, we've come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the news.